Hi. So, LeiLani Cauthen again with Learning Counsel, News Media and Research. I'm here with my good friend, Dr. Stacey Perez, who's principal from Temecula International Academy now. And you're going to be building new schools.
Yes,
This is so exciting. We've been friends for a long time.
we have.
And we're here in San Diego. Actually, El Cajon, right? Before you were principal in another school, but now you're in a position to build new schools. So here's why this is going to be such an interesting conversation with you, is because most of the country losing kids from traditional schools, can't get the teachers, absenteeism. They're not in a position to build anything or grow. They're a little bit on the desperate edge.
Right.
I know you have a vision, and that's why you're in this position. Tell me a little bit more about it, Stace.
I really believe it's my own experience, where I came from, what I've experienced along the way, and my years in education, seeing what worked and what didn't work. I've said to some parents, we're all going to grow up. When you're worried about what he's doing in kindergarten or first grade and we're trying to give them those tools, he's going to grow up and he's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to get a career, and we're not finding that career for them, but we need to.
Yeah.
So I really believe in the personalized learning approach. In high school, I was put into a group of 101 students. We were bused to a low-performing school, and they said, go. Do whatever you need to do for 5 years.
Wow.
And we did, and that was part of the experience. But at the end of that journey, I didn't know how to go to college. Nobody taught me to apply to a college. Nobody in my family had been to college. So where did I get that experience? I didn't go back to school till I was 34 and thought I have to be the change, the educator that's going to change what we're doing for students. I homeschooled my two boys and let them do what they loved. So for one, that meant going to the grocery store to learn math, cutting coupons, coloring. He graduated from high school, and the first thing he did was bought a calligraphy set. And I said, why? You don't like to write. And he goes, you didn't tell me it was an art form. And now he writes beautiful, beautiful cards and papers because handwriting is art to him, and he likes working with his hands. And my other son explored languages, and that's what he wanted to do. It's not something he would have got in the traditional box. So when creating schools, I really believe we have to step away from that and look at what's the best for the whole child. Starting at 3 years old, you see a child with a cell phone, they know how to scroll, they know how to pick an app.
Yep.
And we're saying, oh, you can't do that, or take the screen time away. Take the screen time away. We've got tools that are going faster and faster than we can ever think.
Yeah.
So that's giving us that content to now have a face-to-face conversation.
I'm so glad you said that, because I feel like everything the emotion coming off of you is human. And quite frankly, when you hear us do our briefing later on this morning, you're going to hear me talk about we're moving into the age of humanity, right?
Yeah.
And you're living it. You be it, right? Like it comes out of you, which is why you're in the position that you're in. Build and grow. A lot of leadership is not there. They're running an institution, and the human touch is now years behind them in their career when they were in the classroom. And possibly even then, it was running a whole group. It wasn't running individuals. Does that make sense? I think there's a lot of teachers that are running groups, and they're not necessarily connecting with individuals to grow that individual. Whereas you're coming at it from a mom perspective as well as an educator perspective.
Well, then we put a hard stop in that with COVID.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was a hard stop.
Yeah.
And we had to rethink, what does this feel like? What are we doing? How do we connect with a student via a screen?
Yeah.
We can do it, but it doesn't feel the same as when you're back in person. So I really believe mentoring has to be a part of everything we're doing. Just having conversations. I'm not big on discipline, I'm big on conversations. Tell me why. Are you frustrated?
Yeah.
You've heard parents say, he's bored. Okay, there's more out there. There's so much more out there that we can learn and we can share, we can learn to communicate. And then we, in hindsight, look at what they're doing after school. Oh, you're in sales. That makes so much sense because you talked through every class I ever taught. But we could have given that tools. So now you're the salesperson for my class store. And you're going to do this research. And that's giving you something that's at your your developmental level.
Yeah.
And expanding that, like kind of expanding your horizons to find more that you can use later.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you're in this role, because when you said parents are saying that my child is bored, first thing came through my mind is what my mom did when we were bored. And it was like, well, if you remain bored, I got more chores for you to do. So we quickly learned how to unbore ourselves, which is a skill, right? So I'm glad you're doing it, not me, because I would be like, I'll just give you more chores.
No, let's do more, but let's do what you love.
Yes, and also it's a skill to not be bored. To say in yourself, I'm not doing anything. I'm just laying around. Not really. I am bored, right? Like recognizing that is the first stage, but then doing something about it that would lead to doing something constructive rather than just entertainment or something doesn't do anything for anybody.
Or learning to be mindful that quiet time is reflective time, and that's okay.
And that's okay too.
Yeah.
And that's okay to love yourself.
Because our society is going so fast.
Yes.
Where do we stop and say, I just need a moment for myself. I need a quiet time. I don't want the television on. I don't need a computer. I don't need a phone. I can still think on my own. And challenging students to do that on their own is probably the biggest hurdle right now.
Yeah.
You can Google information, you can ask Alexa, you can ask, all these devices, but where does it become your own thought? And where do you put that thought that's something innate?
Yes. Yes. And I now that we're moving into what I call age of humanity, these things that you're talking about are the leadership things I want to hear a lot more about, being in the news media from leaders. Like that they're thinking about the humanities in a totally different way, in little lessons and big ones, right? Like it's not just social emotional learning, it's actual practical skills of how you run your own mind and where you go with things and how much empathy you give. Empathy, I think, is a learned behavior from others. So if you got teachers, and I've met some of them in other districts, where the teachers are not empathetic, and maybe that's because they're in an environment that's has had violence, and they're afraid. But somewhere along the line, there was a breakdown in that, and so they're not modeling the behavior they want to see. Like they've curled up as a turtle in their shell or something, right?
Or they have the ability, I don't know where this came from, but I don't want to do that. And they can make those choices of like, I need you to do this math assignment. I don't want to do that. Or a generation of teachers saying, that's not my favorite subject to teach, so I'm going to pour more into this. But we're still constrained by what the state and the federal government is telling us we have to teach and how students are supposed to learn. And they can't all learn that way.
Yeah, and then leaders are not making the teachers do what they need. And the word making is probably the wrong word, leading them to find it and love it.
Yes.
Right? Because you don't make any adults do anything if you're careful. You can't even make kids do anything until you say things to them like, oh, you're bored? Well, I got some more chores for you. And then they suddenly are not bored, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. There's this, I'm excited now because, I've been in technology for a really long time. I know you have too. We're coming to this AI age, and we're already saying, let's balance that with more human.
100%.
Let's make this next 20 years of our careers human.
Yeah, and I was sharing that so much of my job as an administrator is taken up with paperwork, budgeting, responding to emails, and to do that I'm sitting behind a desk, and that's not what I believe in. I believe I need to be out having conversations, talking to kids, noticing when someone's upset, somebody's hungry. There's so many other things I need to do as an administrator that AI has given me the opportunity to respond to something faster, more efficiently, create an outline, do a PD on a topic that maybe I'm not the expert on, but that I know my teachers need more math instruction or math tools, and AI is providing that for me, so then I can take the next step to have that face-to-face time and say, I believe this will work if we work at this together.
Yeah, and that's real leadership to me. Leadership is not written orders down the chain of command. It's emotional. I'm excited.
Me too.
Like, start collecting all your little stories, and then we'll, like, next time I come here, we'll be like, this is all stuff.
Yeah.
Keep a diary.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I love being here.
Thanks for chatting.
You too.
Goodbye for now.
Bye.
Okay.